Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Yes, another one. They're probably going to be a fair few this week, only because, as I say, if I've got things to unbox or figures to show that are ready to show, I'll put a video up. So yesterday I had this come through the post. It's the Meng 1 in 35 scale Jeep. Now, I'd looked at this. I think when it first came out, they did it as a. Let me just put that up there. They did it as a flamethrower Jeep. Is it called the Wasp? Is it? I don't know if the Americans had it. I know we did. Never thought it had to be somebody that didn't have to do the job would stick a bloke in an unprotected Jeep with a load of flame material, petrol more or less, napalm, whatever you want to call it, and say drive down this street and you can flamethrow all these houses or whatever, the bunkers or whatever. It's always somebody that doesn't do the job that comes up with those type of ideas. Anyway, that didn't particularly interest me, but a Jeep did, and I thought, well, I'll wait for them to bring it out, and they have done. It is the classic. You'd think every Jeep had a 50 caliber machine gun on it. Whenever you see it, 50 cals all over the place. I'm just going to do a plain Jeep. With this, you get the option of the 50 cal. You get a 30 cal, and you can obviously not put the pedestals in at all, and just have it as an unarmed Jeep, which is what I would do. I wanted one because I wanted to use it more as almost like a backdrop for doing a couple of 1 in 35 scale figures, or one figure, or whatever floats my boat at the time. They get 3 options in this, which I'll have to. In fact, one moment. That's better. There is no chance of me looking at these instructions without these reading bins on. I've got no chance. I was going to say you get 3 options. Now, the one that I was preferring to do when I saw it, for no other reason than I haven't done any British subjects, I don't think, for a long time. In fact, in 1 to 35 scale, I'm not sure if I have at all. But they have this Jeep here. It's not, apart from, it's not going to really look like any other, the American Jeeps, to be honest with you. I went on a Jeep site that shows the variants of the British, what we did different when we got the Jeeps. It turns out not very much, because they were superb off-road vehicles, as we all know, and I think apart from a couple of light variants for the convoys, obviously we didn't have the time to go, let's do a right-hand drive one or whatever. They're all left hookers, so sometimes there was some very subtle differences just in lighting, things like that. Other times there may have been differences in the camouflage or the paint. I would say the paint, but as the writer on this blog or whatever, he was obviously got a Jeep, I take it, he was saying yes, some were painted in the classic British Mickey Mouse ear camouflage, so they look like Mickey Mouse. They're called Mickey Mouse because it looks like Mickey Mouse's ears all added together. And you will sometimes see wartime photographs of those in those on top of either British style olive drab or American style olive drab. But he said a lot of the times they just came off the boat, literally olive drab from the factory. They'd even include extra tins usually of paint to keep it going, which I presume that the REME or whatever would just that's the Royal Electrical Mechanical Engineers. If that's what the guys that were doing these vehicles up, getting them ready for the front. They may have painted them ongoing with that. So anyway, I'm doing mine as 21st Army Group, as it says here, in Normandy in 1944. We're doing this a bit arse about face really, but you get the 36th Cavalry Reconnaissance Regiment, which did have a lot of 30s and 50s on, Northern France 1944, and that one is armed with a 30 cal, which I actually prefer the Jeep. If they're going to be armed, you see them quite often with 30 cals on. I mean, yeah, I know they did have 50s as well, but and that comes with a hell, heaven or home. You know, that they sometimes used to personalise the Jeeps. And then the one with the 50 cal on is Company A, 70th Armoured Regiment, 1st Infantry Division, Normandy 44. There you go. We'll go down, we'll have a proper flick through. So yeah, I wanted one, but they were going at the time, I think when I saw them, for about £27, £28, and you know, they ain't big. And I just thought, oh, that's out. When I've got to add figures, whether it's a resin, if it's a resin, it's going to cost even more. If it's plastic, it's still going to cost. You know, everything's cost, as we all know. So yeah, you have to do the arithmetic. And at the time, I thought £27. That's a, and I know I could get the Tamiya one because really it is just a backdrop. But I thought, well, let's just see if these come down. And a couple of years later, I'm on eBay the other day, and there was a model shop. One moment, I will shout them out because it was packaged well, delivered well, price was good, and that's GD Models Limited, celebrating 75th anniversary. They've obviously been selling models for a long time, but yeah, I got that from their eBay shop, and it was 19 quid including the delivery, so I thought that was a decent price. You know, you're not going to get that much cheaper. And I believe the Tamiya one's going for 12, 13, 14 pound. So let's go down the bench and take a look. Right, thanks for joining me at the bench, guys. We've got our usual Meng stapled instructions, so you know they're not all over the shop. We've got details about the Jeep. I'm just having a look to see if my lights are working for me. That's better. Yeah, we've got the details about the Jeep. Obviously tools. We've got an engine to make up. What can possibly go wrong with Gav's modelling skills? I was glad to see, which we'll get there in a minute. I mean, they seem fairly positive locating points. When I did that Meng FT17, try as I might, I couldn't get that engine to go together. I couldn't get the kit to go together. And I was watching on Instagram, I looked at a photograph on Instagram the other day, and somebody got a perfect body to their FT17. It's Gav, every time it's Gav. Anyway, we've got an engine, should you want to display it. I am thinking of putting some wires in and things just to tart it up. Have a look at the, is it the Go Devil or the Little Devil engine? Can't remember what it's called now. But I might well do that. You never know, I might have the bonnet up, but if not, just for the fun of it. And then we've got some hoses. We've got our ladder chassis. It's telling us here we need CA glue, thin black CA glue, and CA accelerator. Take it that's for a bit of photo etch. But the chassis, the ladder chassis is all in one go. I like that. the least I can, you know, that things go straight, the better. Leaf springs, differential, prop shaft. More of the same. Attaching it to our chassis. Exhaust. A steering column. It says we need to do a bit of drilling. Bulkhead, firewall, whatever you want to call it. Rear tailgate. Fuel tank. High and low ratio, I take it that is for the four-wheel drive. Got to drop in a, oh, it looks like you've even get the VIN number and stuff on that as well, in decal form I'd imagine. But we've got our radiator, fitting the tub to the, and that's number 11. Wheels are two-part. I've only ever had soft rubber tyre ones before, so that'll be interesting. See if I can stuff that up. got battery, heater by the look of it, bumper. We've got more decals. Back in the 90s, I knew a bloke who'd done a Ford version of these, because we all call them Willis, but Ford made them as well. I think one of the other companies did as well. Two. But he had a Ford one, and he completely rebuilt it and was showing it and winning awards with it and stuff. And I got to drive that a couple of times, and go on Jeep runs as he used to go on. They used to take the Jeeps out in the winter, and we'd all freeze to death driving around the countryside in a column of Jeeps, but it was fun. Yeah, we've got our bonnet, windscreen. Obviously you can have them up, down. Well, take it you can have it up and down. You could often see them in different variations. What I'll do with mine, depending, I don't know if that can be displayed up or down yet. You've obviously got the a rifle mount. That was one thing that guy said on his blog. The British ones had clips. I can't remember where he said it now, where they were, but he said they would sometimes have this American one plus the British ones as well. We've got first aid for gas casualties only. So they were still thinking about gas even in 44. We've got our seats. Now then putting the seats in. Rear seats. Canvas sticks. Bit of Pioneer tools. More canvas sticks. Doesn't look like you've got a canvas option with this, or even showing the canvas ruckled up or anything. Spare tyre, you've got the jerry can. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a fuel filter or water filter. If it's on the fuel, I'd imagine it's supposed to be a fuel filter, would it be? I thought it was a water filter because it goes into like a canvas bucket, so I think that's a water filter that they've obviously put around there. I might be wrong. Ammo boxes. I take it they've got ammo boxes for the different variants of either 50 or 30. Making the 50 up, obviously you've got a bigger pedestal with the 50, and more bracing parts to it. I know a lot of the recce vehicles with the Americans, and probably the British as well, because we had recce regiments with armoured cars and stuff, as well as Jeeps. I think I've seen them. And I did think of making it like a British. I still might claim it as a British recce unit, depending what figure I get, and depending if I have to show any of the whatever stenciling on there, because I'm not going to buy extra decals for it. So we've got part sprue. Colours are in AK, which is good because I use mainly AK. Acrison, whatever that is. Matte black, rubber black, khaki, olive drab, wood brown, gloss black, gloss red, gloss orange, silver, brass, gunmetal, burnt red, steel and aluminium. Again, colour call outs for our company A, 70th Armour Regiment, 1st Infantry Division, US Army, Normandy, France 44. 36th Cavalry Regiment, Reconnaissance Regiment I should say, 9th Army, US Army, Northern France 44, and 21st Army Group, British Army, Normandy 1944. And that's the one I shall probably do. Just have it as a bog standard Jeep and save the 50s and the 30s for other builds. Right, I've taken there's not a lot of sprue, in fact there's probably about 4. And when I say 4, there's only 2 with a lot of stuff on it. It's a Jeep after all. We'll do the big one, but they're out in the bags. There'll be photographs at the end for a change, in case you just want to. I think we'll do it this way, but obviously all nicely lettered, with A, B, sprue, that type of thing. Our tyres have got some writing on. I can't say I can particularly read them. As I say, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting how they go together, what seams shown, but we shall get round it. There's our battery, spring detail, towing hook. Here's our ladder chassis. Let's get back again, Gav. There's our ladder chassis already done. Got bumpettes at the back. Sorry if you can hear dogs barking, it's one of them days again today. We've got, there are ejector pin marks. Right, just waiting for that dog to stop barking. I have got the windows closed. The rear of the seat's got a nice ejector pin mark there, so that'll have to be filled fairly deep, so I'd imagine it's going to be filled rather than just scraped out. The engine block has got some ejectors, pinned that still need cutting off. Where are you? There we are. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep the details so you can see, the camera close so you can see the details. It'd be interesting to see if I can get the steering wheel off without anything snapping. Track rod ends by the look of it. Track rods and track rod ends. Nice looking diff. Yeah, I think that's about it. So that's the largest of the sprues. Then we have this one with the bonnet, and we've got a couple of packs hanging over the side. Again, I'll see how. I'd like to actually really stowage this one up, which is why I wasn't fussed on having a 30 or a 50 mounted. I've really fancied doing a fair bit of stowage on it, because I've seen a lot of them either coming directly off the beaches, not in the first hours of the landing, but fairly short, not far after that, and the British anyway were piled high. They'd even got on the bonnets, they'd got fuel jerry cans that were lashed down right near the bulkhead on the bonnet, and they'd also, another one was the one behind I saw had got ammo boxes. Now whether they were actually filled with ammunition or whether they were using the ammo boxes for storage, I don't know, but it would be interesting to see them really piled high with stowage, make it look interesting. But that's that. I believe that's a wart for filling, putting into a river or a pond and getting water for the radiator. I don't even think it's a filter actually. I think it's just a canvas bag for filling with water. I may be wrong. I often am. There's our pedestals. Nice detail. Really like that with the what appear to be 50 cal rounds. That's nice. We've got our windscreen wipers. They said as well another difference with the British was the windscreen wipers. Not always, they said a lot of time the Jeeps would just go straight to the units as is, into the British units, but there's a bar. I believe a lot of these, like the British cars in the 50s up to the early 60s, you could operate the there you are. You could operate the windscreen wipers by hand. You literally could move a little. There was a little switch. I had it on my. Did I? I can't remember if I had it on my early Land Rover or not. And that had the same. You could. Or if I've just been in lots of other people's Land Rovers. I don't know. I've owned several Land Rovers, but the earliest one I could have sworn that might have originally had them. But they're literally, if you can just do them by hand if you have to. Literally, your passenger can be, and they had a bar going across, so the passenger could operate either one. Could both, I should say, both windscreen wipers if they had to. And saying that the British Army removed that a lot of the times, and in fact even removed the passenger windscreen wiper. But again, that doesn't. You're more or less safe by the sound of it to go with whatever you wanted to go with, because there were so many variations. Lots of ejector pin marks in these. I'm going to need some work. It doesn't appear to be on the actual frame of the windscreen. this is obviously where the bonnet attaches, so it's up to you whether you... I will do my best to try and clean the pin marks up, because although you might not see them, you probably know they're there. So yeah, that's it really. And there's our M1 Garant, and it's a holster type thing. We'll just quickly look at... oh no, let's look at the tub first. Right, here's our Jeep tub. Can't tell it's a Jeep, can you? Bit disappointing, I thought, was this plastered all over the back. Now, yeah, I know you're not going to particularly be turning them over, but I thought that was... did we really need that? I don't know. But lots of ejector pin marks all over the shop, and they're all after going to be removed. But apart from that, it looks fairly decent. It looks like we've got all the bolt heads there. We've got the side reflectors. As I say, it's just it does seem to be a lot of ejector pins, but that's modelling. Remove them. I'm just not particularly great at doing it. So, what else we got? Windscreen. I'm not going to take this out of the bag, but windscreen, and looks like we've got some headlights, lenses. Now I'm not taking this one out of the bag because the 50 cal has actually come away from the sprue, but it's got lovely holes, cooling holes already in there, and you just slot. So there's a couple of different types you can slot. You've got about 3 50 cal barrels you can put in for whatever period. The 30, did we miss the 30? Where's that 30? So I have gone past it. Where's the 30? I know it's on here somewhere. Oh, there it is. 30 is a bit more all in one, but even still, it's very nice. So yeah, I won't open that. Sorry guys, but I'll end up losing it. Nice row of rounds, or belt of rounds. So that's that. What else? I'm not going to get these out of the bag either, but it's the decals. We've got them upside down, Gav. Different invasion markings, allied markings, 21st Army groups, symbol. Yeah, bits of stencils, VIN numbers, and just how to engage four-wheel drive, that type of stuff. I doubt you. I thought I saw in a review somebody said that you can't really make those things out, but I'm not really that fussed. So one last look. Right guys, thank you very much. Let's get this back here so you can have a squiz at that. I'll move it out, Gav, it might help. There you go. Thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. I have got one further kit that my married Greg Riley put me onto, and I went and blew the budget, which was I wasn't getting this, and I just happened to see this, and I thought, well, for nine, you know, it's one of those things. Sometimes, if you just say to yourself, well, yes, it could stop down at a low price for forever now. Well, as low prices are in these days. But so many times I don't have the money, and I say, no, I'm not going to get that. And it goes by and you never see it again, and you just think, I wish I'd have got that. So when I saw this for 19 quid, I just thought, it's a bit of a difference from £27, so I had to give it a go. So I've got another kit coming in, and I'll show that as an unboxing probably this week or next week, depending. Probably this week. You know what I'm like, I get something like this, I'm like a kid in a sweet shop. So thanks a lot for stopping by and taking a look yet again. There'll be some naps up probably tomorrow. Keep going with these videos. So yeah, another 6 of those 28mm naps that I'm doing. I've almost finished another 6. We're on the downhill slope on those. I've got 2 more groups of 6 to do, and that unit's ready for basing. The commission's almost sort of finished, at least The cavalry are almost there for basing. Not that we've seen the infantry yet, but yeah, that's almost done as well. So there'll be a few videos up. Panther's getting a varnish at last. The weather's finally breaking. Before it broke me, the Panther's getting a varnish coat today, satin varnish coat, so I can start proper weathering on that. We've been in a heat wave, and every time I've tried to paint the little guys, I have been trying. There's been extra paint added to the tank riders and stuff, but because I was using my smallest brushes, even with some fluid on to obviously stop them drying out more, it's just, they have just been literally, the minute you got the paintbrush to the figure, the paint was already dry, which doesn't do your paintbrushes very good. So yeah, there has been progress on those. I probably won't show those, the figures themselves, until they're actually done now, or at least this group. I've got another 3 figures after that to paint up. But then I need to get a wriggle on and try and work out if I can make a building. If I can't make the building, then as I said, it's going to have to be a few trees on a crossroads, but I would like to see if I can do a building as a backdrop, so we'll see. Phew, look after yourselves. I hope that's been a benefit to somebody who would like a Jeep. As I say, my thoughts on it, it's always a bit hard for me to say things like that because I'm not the world's best modeller. The wheels being in halves, that'll be interesting, but I think it'll be okay. There seem to be a fair amount of ejector pin marks, but you guys out there that do a fair bit of modelling, you know, you'll say if that's fair comment or not. I really don't know enough. I just thought, and again, it's a lot of people say, well, it's underneath, why bother? But you know, I don't know. I will probably end up trying to fill them, if only for practice. Right, guys, thanks a lot. See you on another video.